one of our investors had 14 rate increases.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We had, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. We had 3 in the same day. We typically will get 1 or 2 a month. We had 14 in a week. I mean, like literally just this morning, he reposted that reel about how he has a UPS store on his driver's license.
Shut the fuck.
Yeah, he said, why are you still doing that, dude? Stop it.
And like you posted that once and it's illegal and you just doubled down, you posted the same video again. That just shows how much bullshit they throw out there purely just to get engagement. It doesn't make any sense.
The scenario this morning was the new buyer, they bought a place subject to, and the seller, no longer qualified to buy another place because their DTI was screwed up.
I saw this.
And everyone is basically like, oh, just execute like a lease or give him a lease so the bank looks like it's rent. And the guy that was calling them out, good on him, was basically like, hey, you can't do that after the fact. Like you're basically committing mortgage fraud at this point. And it just seems like someone else is like, this is just like par for the course.
That's what they do, man. I don't know. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Collecting Keys. I'm Mike the Han here with Clicky Clack Keyboard Dan and Dylan Cook back in the office today.
Just trying to get some stuff done while you guys just goof off over here.
I know. Sorry, we're gonna have a little change from last week where Dan was talking about dismantling gurus' bodies to create traps to catch animals on an island. But we'll talk some real business today. And poor Dan over there, since it's recording on Thursday. It's funny, as we've been getting more and more into lending business, Thursday, Fridays are not good days to take off or have distractions because we are always fucking slammed.
Hey, as a lender, you always want to close on Friday. Like Fridays at the end of the month, I imagine are the worst days for lenders.
Yeah. And one of the challenges is like, no matter how much you try to like move things forward, the title company sets the tone at the end of the day and they want to close everything on Friday. And so even if you try to like get stuff forward, what people don't always understand is, you know, we will be waiting for conditions from the title company. And then all of a sudden they will send an email with those conditions or like the title docs, whatever. And then for the next 2 hours, they're emailing us every 7 minutes saying, where's my documents? I need the documents. And then they go back to the bar and they're like, sorry, your lender's fucking trash. I don't know why they haven't those documents yet. Because we were waiting for you, dumbasses.
And this sounds very accurate. Can you elaborate? And this might not be a thing for you, but it definitely is for bigger lenders. I'm talking like the Wells Fargos or whatever. Why it takes like 5 freaking days to get a payoff statement?
So if you're working with like a small lender, it doesn't always. It depends on who's servicing your loan. So like with us, with the stuff that we sell to larger institutional investors, they'll use these third-party note servicing companies, FCI, Celine, Fay, whatever. Basically what it has to look like is you have to request it through them. Then it goes off to some foreign island where their team works, where they have to wake up the next day and then see it. And then they pass it through their bullshit, right? And then it finally gets back to you. So there's like so many hands that are involved kind of unnecessarily.
A lot of approvals.
And then the problem is a lot of the investors, especially on like the fix and flip side, those would be relatively like small funds in terms of like a staff base. And you got to wait for like the one person who's probably like a recent grad from Wharton or Princeton that works there to approve it. And he's hungover. He's not coming to work on Tuesday. It's a mental health day, right? But so it's not going to get approved till he's back in office.
To me, it just doesn't seem like that's necessary because it's literally math.
Of course it's not necessary.
Like you can go down to the day, like to figure out what the payoff is.
Yeah.
And you can do the per day thing to figure out, okay, if it's not today, it's the next day. But it doesn't work the way.
This is kind of the racket of the whole thing is because they want to, like the note servicing company wants the lender to approve, are there any late fees? Is there any extension fees, right? Is there any other stuff? But the whole point of the note servicing company is to have all that stuff already.
Right.
You know, so like they're basically just sending what they already know to the investor to approve it.
I'm going to call Wells Fargo out again just because I've had such terrible experiences. We would have bought a house and saved the guy from foreclosure, but we didn't get the payoff in time.
Really?
So it went to auction. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, they're almost doing it intentionally.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Because we've had similar situations. I'm trying to remember which one, Dan, we had a while back. It might have been a private lender. I can't remember, but it was like 3 weeks in and we still hadn't gotten a payoff statement. Yeah. We've been calling them. Everyone's been calling them and they're just like, sorry, I don't know. Don't know where it is. Then we ended up not closing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it was an inexcusable time frame. It was like 2 weeks, right? Like that you don't need that long to get a payoff statement.
No.
Meanwhile, we have, I don't know if Chance told you this, we got a guy right now that's at the closing table, and the title company forgot to order the payoff from us.
Love that. That's awesome. Who's that?
2018 Pacific.
Oh, that's because he's an idiot.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a loan on this? Nah. No.
Yeah, probably.
But that should show up in a title search, right? Like,
everybody should have.
There's always lots of moving parts, those kind of things. I don't know. Like, there's so many things that shouldn't take as long as they do. They do just because it relies on a relay of information to another person, and that's where everything always falls off.
Sure.
Like, how many times we've closed loans and then like the insurance company just never gets paid because the escrow company just never sends the money to the insurance company, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, where does the money go? I don't understand. And then next thing you know, the borrower's calling us and they're like, hey, I got a letter saying that you guys are going to buy your own insurance if I don't get insurance, and then found out the insurance company never got paid. The escrow company is like, oh, we sent that to you. And we're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. I've had that too, where I had already paid like a year's up front, but they still wanted to escrow my insurance. It's just a mess.
I don't know. And then the crazy thing is they take all this mess and then the big companies will bundle it up into these $300 million tranches and then sell it as a bond to some bank.
A AAA rating too.
A AAA.
Yeah.
And someone's retirement's invested in it.
Yeah, I know. That's definitely not all a scam on a house of cards.
Well, speaking of loans, did you guys see that Coinbase is going to start dipping into the mortgage market?
Interesting.
Well, just like with everything like this, it's the headline's not exactly what it seems, because the headline that you sent over this morning was, Fannie Mae to accept crypto-backed mortgages for the first time. And then as you read into the fine details a little bit, and it basically says that they will allow it to cover up to $10,000 in closing costs, and that's it.
Yeah, right. And so it's really, you're just saving money out of pocket. Yeah, I don't think it's wrapped into the actual loan at all.
So do you use the Bitcoin to pay the closing costs? Is that kind of the premise? Like they have to send it to someone's wallet?
They still haven't came out with the actual details, but I would assume that it's escrowed somewhere and it's over collateralized. So like you have to give them $20,000 to $30,000 in Bitcoin to cover the $10,000 in closing costs.
Yeah. Because like a lot of lenders right now will use crypto or Bitcoin as like a way to meet the liquidity requirements. It's similar to if you have like a stock portfolio.
Right.
But using it for part of the transaction, because the whole point of it was they wanted to make it so that people didn't have to have a taxable event.
Correct.
But I don't know how they would do that without them like receiving Bitcoin as part of the transaction. Because they're not going to like be like, oh, well, you got $1.5 million in Bitcoin. Cool. You don't have to make a down payment on the house then.
Right, because you would think that they would convert it to dollars, and then that would therefore create the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, this just came out this morning, and of course, there's really no roadmap on how it's been working. So
I just can't imagine it'll be useful.
No.
A useful tool whatsoever. It's like one of those things.
Well, 10 grand's not a lot when it comes to like...
It's like when you get into some of these like complicated real estate transactions that, people might do on a commercial property, but you see these dorks doing it on a residential single family home, or where they're, doing their chopped up, co-living housing. It's like in most cases, all the effort to get this 10K backed Bitcoin is probably not worth it for anybody.
Yeah.
No.
Like there's just the effort to get it to work. You're like, it's not worth it.
Well, I mean, if you look at how the headline's kind of structured in the day, because it's a specific company, right? It's Better Home and Finance. And so I'm pretty sure it's just a marketing tactic. Is they get all these people that reach out and be like, oh, you'll use my Bitcoin now? And they go, yeah, totally. And they get you in the system and they fill out all the bullshit. And then you pay for the appraisal and you're going through the thing like, well, actually, this is what we can use it for. Do you still want to do it or not? And now, regardless if you're going to buy the house, they now have your information that they can sell, they can market to you with, and eventually you'll come back to them.
Sounds like lenders where they overpromise and then underdeliver at the last second.
That's every industry in the world. Dude.
I know. I'm just like to pick on it now.
It's like everything. Like it's such a weird time, I feel like, to be in business. And maybe it's always been like this, but I feel like everyone feels like they're an expert on everything because you just have such a high access to information at all times. And it's made worse with like AI, because now you can talk to this robot that just like gives you an answer that it is absolutely certain is the correct answer. And I think the way that it gives it to you, it's always like so confident. And then it always phrases it in a way where it knows you're going to like the answer, right?
If you don't have the mental acuity to question it, you're just like, oh yeah, this is right.
Yeah, totally. A good example of this, and we talked about this earlier, but Ryan Serhant, he has this very, very high luxury brokerage in New York City. Like his whole thing is he sells these like tens, hundreds $1 million sort of penthouse in New York City.
Billionaire Row.
Yeah, Billionaire Row. That's like his jam. He has a whole TV show around it. Mm-hmm. But he posted a reel yesterday talking about how they were right at the finish line of a $50 million transaction. And they had speed bumps at the very end because both the seller and the buyer asked if they were getting a good deal. And it told them both no.
The ChatGPT.
ChatGPT specifically, yeah. So it told the seller that the property was worth more than they're selling it for, and it told the buyer that the property is worth less than they were buying it for.
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's the same prompt. It technically should be looking at the same information, but it's giving a different answer. And as he was sort of like giving updates in his comments as it was going down, it didn't look like it actually went through. It looks like it actually got blown up because of that.
Yeah. I mean, he said he lost out the commission, which is $1.5 million from ChatGPT.
Not only that, but like he said he'd been working on that for like 6+ months. Plus he'd built all the relationships with these people beforehand. Because when you're doing real estate transactions at that scale, it's not like you're just like listing it and waiting for a buyer. Like you have to be in the network to even know the people that are buying real estate like that.
Totally.
Which is a very special club. But, shot down by freaking ChatGPT because it went, well, that's a great question. Let me tell you exactly why $50 million is not a good price for that property.
Yeah. And vice versa with the other guy, and you are totally right. And that's hopefully something gets figured out, that basically if you just said, you can program it to give you the answer that you want eventually.
Or it just tells you what you want to hear after a while, and like gaslights you. This is my big argument with it.
I don't understand the value of ChatGPT because it seems like does that a lot. I don't hear that as much from the other AIs, but they all have their own quirks, right? But ChatGPT in general seems to be like very inaccurate, lie to you, has some stupid stuff. There's like straight stuff that it just won't tell you. Like I've prompted it on stuff. I'm trying to think of the last one I tried to prompt it. I was talking to somebody about something religious and I asked it to give me the...
give me the proof of God.
Yeah, give me proof of God. No, it was something simple like, can you give me the Sermon on the Mount or whatever it's called, Sermon at the Mount? And it's like, sorry, I can't provide you with that type of information. I was like, that's really weird. Like that's just weird. Like a document. Like that's like a book. It's like a page out of a book.
Did you guys see the tests that people were doing online with this? They would basically ask all the different AIs, basically, hey, I need to take my car to the car wash. It's 100 meters away. Should I walk or drive there?
Oh yeah.
And a lot of them said you should walk because it's faster.
That's so funny.
Not understanding that the whole freaking purpose is to wash the car. So a long way to go with that though, right? Like,
are we sure that it's just not a bunch of Filipinos?
That'd be pretty quick. Like some of the response times will be pretty quick.
There was that one company that Amazon had backed. It was one of like the flow state coding companies, whatever they call it, the vibe coding
stuff.
And it turned out, because like what would happen is you would do it and it would be like, yes, the agents are working in the background and they'll come back. And it was literally just going to a bunch of Indian dudes that were like rapidly typing it away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which company that was. You go Google, see what like the AI fraud with Indian coders. It was a whole thing because they'd received like massive investment, like $50 million to some of these companies. And it was all bullshit.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I shared it with this whole group, but I know I shared with Mike that the Washington State Department of Licensing used AI for its Spanish speaking agents. And all it was just an American language with a Spanish accent.
It was like in English, and it was like had like a fake like Spanish accent.
That is hilarious.
So you'd call into the Washington DOT and say you needed Spanish, and it would just be like. Yeah, as if you had like someone that spoke English as a second language and had a strong accent.
That you're at Azteca and you're trying to order burritos from the white kid that's serving you.
So funny.
So bad, dude.
That's like worse than like they have Google Translate 10 years ago. Like
I know.
That's so bad.
Well, no, it spoke well. The problem was it was putting on a fake accent. It was like if you were trying to imitate somebody. It's such a weird time with that kind of stuff because I feel like it's really started to gain momentum with a lot of people. And there's so many people all on my social media and everywhere that are talking about all these like different like claw bots and all the shit that they're building. I have yet to have someone give me an actual applicable use case that isn't more than just like it manages my email inbox. They always talk about these things that they're doing.
Which I call BS on the whole email inbox. There's no way. How useless is your inbox if you have AI managing it?
Exactly. We get more emails than most people. I guarantee it, because we're included on everything with all of our loans and our business and everything else. You fall behind, but like it's still somewhat manageable. Like I don't understand what they're doing. And I like begged people. I'm like, can you please show me what you're doing? And they're always like, you just don't get it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like it doesn't make any fundamental sense.
This is my opinion. It's highly, highly overstated, especially by individuals that want to be in the know and want to be on the bleeding edge of technology or whatever. But the value will come. It's just not here yet. Like there's clearly a stated value proposition here. It's just not there yet. So when you're saying that you're getting so much value of it out of AI, is it like just not great value?
Or it's stuff that existed before. You just didn't know how to do it, right? Like I've gotten a lot of posts of business owners that are dudes that are like 10 years older than me. And so, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a nerd. So I kind of have been in the depths of some of the automation stuff that's been available with business for a while. And they'll be like, I just used Claude to build an automation that connects our lead form to our CRM. I'm like, that's called Zapier. It's been around for fucking 15 years.
Yeah,
but ChatGPT told them about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you doing?
I tend to agree. Like the prompting is still important depending on what you're asking it. And then 2, it's just not there yet, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't pay attention to it because there might be use cases that, a year, 2, 3 years from now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We've talked about this before. I think that ultimately the value will be people that are doing it, like plugging it into existing specific things and not trying to create stuff from scratch.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Dude, so I have literally on my left screen here, I have AI working for me. It's my underwriting spreadsheet for these loans. And I can see where our Filipino processor is clicking through and making edits and changing things.
So that's your AI?
It works great. And she's awesome and a great employee and works hard and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But she needs to go to the bathroom. And so
she does have to take bathroom breaks, which I'm okay with.
It's inefficient though. She can't be doing that. She needs to bring her laptop with
Knowing her, she probably does.
Yeah, right. They are very loyal that way. But yeah, I think my general view on it, I saw Cole Rudd Johnson shared this on Instagram. I reshared. I thought it was pretty funny. And it was like a tweet and it said, I am 837 hours into automating a task that I do 4 times a year that takes 30 seconds. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And Mike and I have learned this a long time ago in business is like, some stuff is just not worth automating.
No.
Like the effort and the work. And guess what? Your business will change so quickly, especially if you're like growing a business. Like sometimes you just got to muscle through it until you get to more of a plateau phase, which I don't know when that is. I don't feel like I've ever been in a business that plateaus for years at a time.
Especially if you're a small business. I think that's the issue. You have all these people that have a business that's doing like $500,000 a year and they're obsessed with trying to optimize with AI. When I'm like, really, if you just did more sales, you wouldn't care.
Go hire a person to do some of that back office crap and just go focus on getting more leads, more sales, more closings.
It's always dynamic. There's 2 times I can think of that's like, okay, I created the Loom video. I got all the SOPs. I gave it to someone else. Well, then the website that you use for all those SOPs changes.
Exactly.
Breaks everything else, right?
Yeah. Or your just general standard processes change because you outgrow that part of the business. When you're small, you change so frequently.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, like what's going on right now is so different than what existed 2 years ago. It'll be way different than what exists 2 years from now. Either way, I'm just ready for the robots. Some of you guys saw Melania Trump walk out with one of like the Trump robots the other day. It'll be interesting to see what the first applications are of those.
What do you mean Trump robot? Am I missing?
Oh, sorry. One of the Tesla robots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she like walked out for whatever she was at with one of the robots. I'm really interested to see what the first uses of that are. I mean, they're very human-like. They can do human-like tasks. And it's supposed to be basically like a $25,000 one-time cost about one of these things.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a monthly subscription fee for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
They'll have like planned obsolescence in like the knees and like the hips.
Right.
So they have like the same issues as like workers.
If you wanted to do dishes, it's $20. If you want to do laundry, it's an additional $20.
Exactly. No shit,
exactly.
Right? Then you have to start paying an allowance. I was watching a thing about the Tesla robot several months ago, maybe like even last year, where it was Elon getting interviewed like, as usual. And he's talking about how they built the robot and decided to design it to fit into the human world, as opposed to a lot of robots are designed to work in like their own world, their own space. So it's more applicable for day-to-day uses for things that are already existing in our environment. So like it's built to be able to mow your lawn.
Yeah.
It's more humanoid than a lot of other robots in the past, right?
Yeah. I mean, I cannot imagine a situation where fast forwarding 5 or 10 years where they aren't like the bulk of the people or the bulk of like the workers in some of these factories and stuff that have like repetitive tasks.
That's just scary to think. Think about all the home services like lawn mowing, like raking your yard. Like I had some landscapers up here to look at some of the stuff in my house, like, install some plants, like dig the holes and do some other like small little jobs. And I'm like, I don't know if a robot could do that yet, and probably not, but maybe it could. And if it can, why would I hire the landscaper? Because I can tell the robot when and how and what to do, and they show up when I need them to.
You can have them come do it at 2 a.m. if you want.
Like seriously. Yeah. So that is weird.
Do they also order the materials? Do they take their Tesla car and pick up the materials?
Why couldn't they, dude?
Yeah.
Why couldn't they?
Probably. Self-driving car. I mean, or they'll have that shit delivered by drone. They're already doing like drone deliveries in bigger cities where like they're flying them in and dropping stuff.
Oh, I was in Phoenix this past week, and I guess that's where Waymo, the Google car, like the bulk of their first testing, they were everywhere. It's kind of wild to see like these driverless cars go around. And then my buddy took one to the airport, and he said it was no problem at all.
I prefer them. They're actually really nice.
Yeah.
They're really nice. You can't go on the freeway though. At least the last time I took one, you can't. And so it takes you like these weird back roads to the airport. You're like, where am I going? Like, this is sketchy.
One thing's going to off me.
Yeah, seriously. Like they're legit. They're good at it. I've heard in Austin, people are seeing the Tesla one. There's Tesla there too now. And so the Tesla car, which is more like you can't really tell right away because the Tesla car is just the car, where the Waymo has it's like the Jaguar with all like the stuff strapped to it.
Yeah, there's bells and whistles all over that thing. But I mean, it knew like to turn right on red when something else wasn't there. It had like some construction stuff there. It's funny. My buddy's like, I got my clubs in my back. I feel like I'm going to get on my car. It's going to take off.
I know that is sketchy, dude. Yeah. There's like little things that you got to worry about. Like I thought I wanted to take me to Starbucks on the way somewhere, but I'm like, shit, if I get out, will it just like ditch me? Because you have like a small, at least when I, like a year ago when I took it last time, it was like you only have a certain amount of time before it's like, yeah, get out, we're leaving.
Yeah. So now this has me thinking, okay, so let's say I'm traveling with my baby and I need to like throw in like a car seat really quick. Because you can get car seats you can install super fast, but it might take like 2 minutes. I think it's going to be like, nope, we're leaving.
2 minutes, dude? I don't know what kind of competition you put yourself in. It's like 12 minutes.
Well, for you, I'm letting my wife do it. She's the competent.
Yeah, those things are a bitch.
Yeah, good question. Like if you need a car seat or, I don't know, the stroller in the back that you need to get out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're going and like just taking off with your kid in the car still because they're like sitting like below the sensors, or it's like a rear facing thing so it can't see him.
Oh, dude.
It'll happen, I bet. They have to have some sort of fail-safe for it.
Yeah. I didn't deliver a kid.
Yeah, right. It's going to be a case of one like going to pick someone up and there's like a baby just sitting in the back like, meh.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys a story where I almost got beat up because I was in a Waymo?
What? No.
Yeah. So I was down in Scottsdale. There's a place, what is the hotel called? The Ambassadors Club, maybe? It's like a nice like bar hotel thing.
It sounds like where old men go to meet younger women.
It definitely is, dude, for sure.
Why do you think Dan was there?
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually a cool spot. I can't remember. I don't think it's called the Ambassador Club. It's called something else. But it is a hotel, but the main floor is like kind of like a bar club thing. They got like live music and all that. But because of that, like they have this drop off, like it's a hotel, but then like it turns into more of like a valet at night. And so we called a Waymo and it was packed. Like we were leaving like at prime time when all the cool people are coming, which is like at 11 o'clock at night. And some lady had gotten drunk and like fell over and like bashed her head on the ground, like right in front of us, like bam, just like busted her head open and she was out. And so they called an ambulance. So all these people in their fancy like Ferraris and black car drop-offs are trying to get into this thing. Meanwhile, there's a full fire truck and an ambulance coming in all at the same time. We're piling into our Waymo, which was in that, it was like a whole gigantic intersection of just shit. And everybody wants to get there to party. So they're upset. And so our Waymo, they're legit. This Waymo like peels out in front of this guy who's in a black Suburban, like dropping some people off, like stops. And so like there's a car like this, they're right in front of each other. And the Waymo pulls in between the two cars while they're stopped, whips around, backs into a parking spot to do like a 3-point turn and then like go out. And This dude was so mad because then the Waymo just kept like being aggressive, like inching its way back out into traffic. And the guy's like flipping me off. And so my two buddies are in the back seat. And so I'm in the front seat, right? And there's nobody sitting next to me. And this guy's cussing, like flipping me off. Like he was mad. And I'm like now right here, like he's like looking right at me, like, you piece of shit, like yell. I'm like, dude, I'm not controlling this car at all, dude. The guy was so violently mad at me, dude. And I was just like, God damn it, dude. And I'm just stuck in this car. I couldn't do anything.
They do seem aggressive. They have an aggressive like approach when they drive.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, it was probably in like the in the mode at that point where like it didn't know what to do. So really what took it over was a Filipino driver overseas. Because that is what happens. You know that, right?
They just push themselves through, right?
I did not know that. No, I did not.
Oh, they do have supervision. You're absolutely right. They have, like, I see what you're saying.
But actually, so if those cars get into a situation where it's like kind of out of the ordinary, a VA, they're all in the Philippines, like connects into the car and they actually drive it remotely.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so they're still supervised. So I don't know how many Filipinos per car, or how many cars per Filipino, but they are, at least the Waymos are still.
Filipinos per car.
Yeah.
The most inefficient thing ever. Yeah. One steers left, one steers right, one does the gas.
One gets each camera, yeah.
They're all sitting there,
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I knew that they were supervised and they actually can see like inside the cab as well to make sure like you're not doing anything weird.
No illicit activities inside the Waymos.
Yeah. They're cool though. They're fun to ride around, and it definitely lets you know where the future, as we thought of it, is kind of here.
Yeah, with a lot of that stuff. I mean,
that's what I think about with this Tesla robot. So like, okay, so hypothetically, if this Tesla robot comes out and it's $25,000, are you in? Like, and it works well.
Well, I'm gonna be first.
I'm not gonna be first. I'm gonna let other people do it first.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And yes, don't be for like, it can mow your lawn. It can wash your windows. It can clean your house. It can maybe do, I don't know, other things. Like maybe there's like a list of things where you're like, okay, that's my break even point. I would totally get that.
It'll take a long time before it's a consumer product, right? Like it'll be, in factories for different tasks, those sort of things. But I mean, there's so many like service-based stuff, like tasks that they could do. If you look at like general garden stuff, like you said, or like we had someone here that like cleaned my windows, the other day. That's totally something a robot could do.
Yeah.
Right. And probably do a better job too. And it'd be significantly faster.
Yeah. You'd hope they do a better job.
You'd think so.
I mean, if they fall off the ladder, that's on them.
Yeah. And I don't care because it's a robot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When they first started teasing those, they had like a picture of all the different ones you could get. There's basically like 4 different colors. And on Reddit, when I saw it, the most upvoted comment was, "So I can't decide if it's better or worse that I want the black one."
So they have color options. Yeah,
they do.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I'd get the black one.
Is that better or worse? How do you view that?
Mike, can you explain the joke to me? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
What else is happening in the world now? Anything? Nothing in the headlines?
No, not really. We're just invading Iran. Dan's getting ready to go suit up over there, getting itchy.
I've already fought my rich white politicians war. I don't need another one.
Everyone needs a rebound.
You need your group chat of all your Green Beret friends, Dan, or are you just like, oh, let's go back?
No, actually, it's actually like honestly eerily quiet.
Oh,
really? Nobody's saying anything to each other.
That's problematic.
Some of our friends are still in, right? As some of them are definitely not for the war. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know many people who are, if I'm being honest.
I don't know anybody that is.
Do you think we're going to have ground troops there?
I think it's inevitable, which is so terrible to say. Like, here's my opinion on this, and I'm 100% against this. I always will like leave a caveat into stuff like this. Is I'm sure there's stuff we don't know from a security risk, but I just can't still justify that, right? Going into another country doing this thing. The problem is you go into this country, right? You kill the dude that you're going to kill, right?
Which we did already, by the way.
Which we already did.
Yeah.
And then the next guy, I think we killed him too. So you take the guy out of power. This is not a regime change war is what they've said, right? So now you have not a regime change war, but you are trying to kill everybody in the regime. And you want to do it just by bombing stuff, right? So, okay, so if you left, say now, you've really just stirred up the hornet's nest and all your allies are getting bombed in the area and really screwed things up. So you got to kind of go a little bit deeper to make sure they aren't messing around. But then you start involving civilians and hurting infrastructure. that is vitally necessary to their production in their life, right? Their oil fields, their refineries, their schools, whatever you bomb, even their government buildings, right? Like shit gets blown up. So now you're kind of like, well, we did blow some shit up. So should we kind of like help them out and rebuild it? So now you're back into the rebuilding phase. Now you got to put people there to help do that. Like that's like the go too far, but you haven't gone far enough. And if I was to like sum it up, I would say they haven't gone too far, but then they're going to have to go too far. And then it's just this whole ground invasion and just dumb shit. They probably already have people on the ground. We just don't know it.
Someone on Polymarket had like, if we're going to be invaded or so by the end of the day, and there's like these new wallets or whatever, and all of them made like $75,000 to $150,000 bets. They're going to profit X amount of dollars. And eventually this morning I said, F this. If they have insider trading, I'm going to do it too. So I made a Polymarket account, and then I realized that you can't do it in the United States.
Really?
At least I couldn't. Yeah. So I guess
That
you can only do
sucks.
the Kolshi or whatever.
Well, you can if you're a politician, because you guys saw the oil future trading right before the like Trump's tweets and stuff like that. You don't tell me that's not insider trading.
I guess that the cabinet of the whole Trump crew with Bissett and them are swapping contracts. Like they know if they're going to, like, I don't know how to best explain this, but there are futures contracts in oil. And because they know if they're going to release from the reserve or not, they basically were like rigging the market so they could make money even if the SPR was going down. It was kind of like a bizarre thing.
Like the individual cabinet members or the U.S. government?
No, like the U.S. government. This was like said that came out. And
so the U.S. government was trying to profit off of it
Yes.
to make some extra margin. Oh, okay.
Correct.
I hate that less.
Yeah, other than individual people with insider information, right?
I mean, other than like if it was like, hey, we're going to make some money for the American people, like let's fuck some shit.
It's not for the American people though, dude.
It just gets refunded into the war, right? Like that's the problem.
It's going to the Golden Ballroom and all their other bullshit.
So if you really look at this, so this is like really fascinating, and I've only dug like an inch deep into this whole topic and idea. So if you look at the Iraq and Afghanistan wars that we got into after 9/11, which I think is arguably was a lot of money and a waste of money, right? But I don't know what the total number is, but I've heard like the number $10 trillion, right? So the U.S. government was not going to be able to tax the American people $10 trillion, right? If they're like, we're going to increase taxes and take $10 trillion from the American public, people would riot. Like that's a lot of money. So they wanted to go to war and they wanted to ingratiate themselves and do all this stuff that the politicians do and people of these defense companies do and these lobbyists do. Is that this is how they make money, right? War, I've seen so much wealth being built through war into a concentrated amount of people. So they basically $10 trillion was put into the pockets of all these people because they
printed it. They printed it. Yeah.
They paid for the war, right? So my point, because you cut me off, Dylan, you asshole, is that they couldn't tax the American people. So what did they do? They sold debt to, in our case, what they would call our enemies, the government, they sold it to China and all these other people around the world. And then they printed what they couldn't sell.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's pretty well known.
And then you saw all of this money in the value we saw skyrocketing, which is, really took a massive acceleration during COVID because they printed even more money because they didn't have any money because they spent it all in this war. It just accelerated the values, everything. So even in our adult lifetime, all of this like inflation and all the growth that we see is just fake. It didn't really happen. It didn't really exist. They just created it by spending $10 trillion on a war that never ended and never came to fruition.
The compounded annual growth rate of the M2 money supply averages about 7% over 100 years. The S&P 500 also averages around 7% over the past 100 years.
Yeah, that's the same exact argument, right? Is that the S&P 500, if you're investing only in the S&P 500, you're just saving money.
Exactly.
To keep up with inflation.
Which, I mean, this is just a debasement trade. And there's a researcher who I love. Her name is Lynn Olden. She has some free research articles and a premium one, which I do pay for. But this stuff goes in these short-term and long-term debt cycles. And typically they start at like the individual level. Then they go up to the corporate level. Then they go to the corporate level. They go to the sovereign level. And then once they go to the sovereign level, there's no one else to take it. And that is the currency debasement trade. And that's the stuff that people like Ray Dalio have been talking about for the past 10 to 15 years. So, I mean, it's crazy because think about World War II, where they actually had war bonds, where they got people to buy bonds to help pay for the war. Like it's just not going to fly today in today's world.
No, because we all pay taxes. Like the tax, like people already feel so overtaxed on everything. They're not going to give more money to the government willingly.
Yeah, especially for a war that they don't agree with, right?
Right. Yeah. World War II is different, right? There was like, oh my gosh, and people actually stood up and converted factories and people went to work to really fight the war. But that was a little bit more of a dire situation. I think the Jews were involved in that war too somehow.
Well, World War II was when Germany and Hitler started in 19. Yeah, know your history, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, do you know why Hitler went after the Jews?
Oh, geez, we need to cut this part out of the show.
This is a conspiracy. Have you heard this conspiracy? I don't know much about it.
I'm pretty down.
It has to do with the Rothschild family.
Yeah. I'm pretty down most conspiracy theory roles, so probably.
Yeah, you probably heard this one then. Okay. Mike's like, we got to cut it.
I know.
Anyway, so like that strait, I don't pronounce it right. It's Hormuz. Like that strait is still closed.
Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, it's still closed. And obviously that affects a lot of oil. Oil affects pretty much everything. And I've heard that over $100 a barrel, we're going to see prices on most retail products go up. And I think something that I heard in a later podcast that's underreported is like 33% of the world's fertilizer also goes through that same strait.
Really?
And they can't go through it right now either. So if farmers don't have fertilizer for crops, that's going to even cause more problems going down, the longer that this stays closed.
What fertilizer are we talking about? What do you fertilize with?
I think like people in the Midwest who grow like corn and beans and that kind of stuff.
Well, I knew that, but like, what is the fertilizer?
I don't know if that's an organic substance.
Because I know a lot of it's like manure or human feces and all that sort of stuff that they like grind up and spread out in there. But is there like, I guess the chemical type of fertilizer maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but maybe the natural resources.
I'm just curious of where it comes from, if it's like in the Middle East or something like that.
That goes through the strait. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, those are things that I know very little about.
Just my curiosity.
Yeah. I did see a thing that said that was a 46% of farms, it's the highest it's ever been, were basically on the verge of declaring bankruptcy or had declared bankruptcy in the last 12 months. And a big part of it was because of us having our trade issues with China. So they don't really have an outlet for a lot of the stuff that they grow that, the U.S. doesn't consume, things like soybeans, stuff like that we don't really consume a lot of. And then also too, because of the fertilizer issue.
Yeah.
You want to know what's crazy about that is there's so much, I think that's a very complex topic, but I just found this out that like a lot of like the Midwest states that like basically produce like some of the most like rich like land, you could say, like the most producing land, they consume like 7% of what they grow. And then they import like 97% of all their other, 93% of their food. Like what? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
They sell it to other parts of the world. They export it out of the Midwest to China and all these other places. And then they import shitty processed food.
I mean, that's like so many other things that happen in the United States, though. It's like all the timber over here on the West Coast. A lot of it we sell to China. Yeah. They process it, and then we buy it back from them at a premium because it's cheaper than us processing it here.
It's wild, though. It's just interesting stuff, yeah. But you go down this whole path on the fertilizers and the weed killer that we use in America, which is outlawed in all of the other parts of the world. And you talk about people with like cancer and food allergies. That's a whole thing.
Yeah, the organic stuff. Yeah,
it's wild. Like literally, like you talk about people always talk about going to Europe and they're like, oh, I could eat foods I could never eat in the U.S. And the thing that always fascinated me about people saying they go to Italy and eat like grains there and don't feel sick. Italy, it's like it's the majority of their wheat comes from the U.S.
It's not the source, it's the processing of the source.
It's the processing, but also like what's getting put on that allows it to be shipped to Europe, that if you had it in the U.S., like they only ship that to Europe, but whatever's being eaten and consumed in the U.S. has some other chemicals on it that's really bad for you. It's an interesting argument.
Well, I know it's affected interest rates a lot for you guys, too. I'm sure you get a lot of pleasant borrowers.
Yeah, I know. It's made business super fun, just like I'm sure it has for everybody else. We had some of the interest rate changes that we've had in the lending business over the last month have been crazy. Like last week, one of our investors had 14 rate increases.
Oh, man.
I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. We had 3 in the same day. And on average, just for context, we typically will get 1 or 2 a month. We had 14 in a week.
Can they rate lock like you can do on a traditional loan?
Yeah, but like there would be stuff that we sold in the morning, and then by the time it got to the end of the day, that rate no longer was honorable.
Okay. Yeah.
It was happening so fast.
Even RTL rates have gone up, which typically don't usually go up. Those are because they're not as sensitive as like the 30-year stuff.
Dan, explain what RTL. Most people don't know what that means.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The fix and flip loans, like the short-term debt that has gone up. What did it go up like? Not a ton, but like half a point, depending on where you're at.
Yeah. Basically the floor is like a half point higher. And they're starting to get stricter on a lot of different things all across the board with the private lending space. Like where we've really faced a lot of pushback right now, there's been such a massive increase in fraud regarding people moving into properties that they got DSCR loans on. So we have to jump through all these hoops now to basically verify that people that are getting DSCR loans like have a primary residence that they live in.
Like more proof than you would have to give for a conventional loan.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like the number one thing that they care about right now. You know, because like the rates are on par with what you can get on a Fannie Freddie loan, but the qualification is technically easier.
It's because they're like, we're going to be foreclosing on all these bastards. We don't want a 2008 all over.
I know.
It's the same money as 2008. It's just in a different type of MBS.
Well, I bet the dollar amount's higher just from the growth over the past 15, 20 years. But,
significantly higher.
Oh, it's got to be. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because property values have gone up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Cost of everything's tricky. Going to war, all poison to people. You know, and then I was talking to one of our mutual friends last night, Dan, and I was like, and he's like, I don't really know what we're supposed to do. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go play pickleball tomorrow, I guess. That's really all you can do.
The thing that I've always believed in, because like I've had to like train myself, because my natural inclination would be to be like worried about that stuff. But at the end of the day, you should only really worry about what you can control. Mm-hmm. And we can't control what's going on in the war on Iran. We can't control. You can what if the shit out of everything. But if you are a flipper, like you should probably still flip some houses. You probably shouldn't just stop unless your business just sucks. Like you're not doing anything, right? But like if you're like debating on doing a flip and you're only accounting for the fact that maybe something crazy could happen, like a white swan event, like a nuclear bomb, or the economy just takes a really deep dive, well, what are you going to do then? Like not flip the houses when the economy is bad too. And so like you've got to obviously make risk-weighted decisions, but you have to keep doing things like going and playing pickleball. Yeah. You can't make it have you stop doing business.
Yeah. Just got to live your life at the end of it, you know? And I think it's important for people to get themselves in like a defensive position where they have the ability to make changes if they need to. You know, whether that means like a financially defensible position where you have like cash available, or, you know, being able to be mobile, right? So that you feel like you need to like leave your area, like you can do that.
Right.
You know, or you have like a general idea about how you're going to do that. But if you're going too much further than that, I don't know, if you look at most of the crises that have happened over the last like while, like long time, even like recent stuff in like 2020, there's been a lot of different atrocities that have happened around the world. The people that like are determined to like stay there and like fight it out are the ones who get cooked. You know, they're the ones who just, they completely get decimated because they try to, you know, figure it out. The people that have the ability to leave are the ones who survive at the end of it. You know, and you can go as far back to World War II, where, you know, the Jews during the Holocaust, they were able to like pay their way out. Yeah. They survived. People that stayed there and tried to shelter in place did not. You know, it's even more recent. You look at like Syria, right? Or like Yemen, or like a lot of the South Sudan, a lot of the major issues that we've had recently, the people that were able to escape, they did just fine. But they were in a position where they were able to do that. But which is tricky.
Yeah. I'm going to be shooting all the fleers and taking their stuff so that I could go flee.
Of course.
I'm going to go stand at the Canadian border, rob people.
That is a good thing about where we live, honestly, is like we're kind of in a part of the country that nobody gives a shit about. And we are close to a border if we did need to leave.
Yeah. We can pop smoke pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But now also we live with people that think that way. So you get right on the edge of town. There's some strange people.
Oh, for sure. It's a lot of them.
Cool.
Anyways. All right, guys. Anything else to wrap up?
I'm good.
Nah, I'm just going to go get my bug out bag ready now that you got me pumped up and ready to run.
Yeah, I mean, you know, make sure you got everything in there. Make sure that your rations aren't expired.
Golly, I don't have any rations.
Well, we got one to do. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you guys next time.
See ya.
This episode is sponsored by Sir Lancelot LLC, also known as SLA Capital, which, if you didn't know, is Dan and I's private lending company. So yes, we are sponsoring our own show, but what you going to do about it? It is our private lending company that offers hard money and DSCR loans to real estate investors of all types. So you can be a new investor, an experienced investor. You can be buying flips. You can be buying rentals, whatever. We can do everything. And not only that, but the rates that we offer are just as competitive, if not cheaper, than pretty much every other company out there. So whatever big company you've been working with, bring us their term sheets and I guarantee you that we can probably beat it. We have the same connections they do. We just don't have all the overhead and middlemen. So if you want to come and check us out, go to slacapital.com/keys and I will know that you came from the show. And by seeing that you came from here, when you get to closing, you will save $500 on your first loan with us. So slacapital.com/keys, we would love to fund your next deal. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want more from us, you can shoot us a follow on Instagram. I am at Mike_invest. Dan is at InvestorMan Dan. And Dylan is at Dylan_does_deals. Shoot us a follow and send us a DM to let us know what you think of the show.